In an update to a story that we covered earlier today, the Trump campaign has officially reacted in anger to a bombshell new report that Donald Trump, as president, was secretly sending preciously rare COVID-19 tests to his BFF Vladimir Putin at a time when millions of Americans were desperate for those tests to prevent death and infection of others. And now Donald Trump is publicly triggered by the story. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, it's going to be a short one. We do have a clip, though, to play because we have some additional details that were not available at the time we did the story earlier. So again, as you know, it was reported as a result of Bob Woodward, who is a Watergate journalist, a famous journalist. He's written a book called War. It's coming out in a few weeks. And apparently in 2020, when Trump was president, he was secretly sending COVID-19 tests to Vladimir Putin, who was worried that he was infected by COVID-19 at a time when Trump was refusing federal assistance to states needing COVID-19 resources, including tests, and at a time when hundreds of thousands of Americans were getting infected and dying. The Trump campaign officially reacted, and they lost their freaking minds. Trump campaign statement on made-up stories by Bob Woodward. Quote, "None of these made-up stories by Bob Woodward are true and are the work of a truly demented and deranged man who suffers from a debilitating case of Trump derangement syndrome. Woodward is an angry little man and is clearly upset because Trump is successfully suing him because of the unauthorized publishing of records he made previously. Trump gave him absolutely no access for this trash book that either belongs in the bargain bin of the fiction section of a discount bookstore or used as toilet tissue. Woodward is a total sleazebag who has lost it mentally, and he's slow, lethargic, incompetent, and overall a boring person with no personality," said Stephen Chung, communications director of the Trump campaign. And I know what you're thinking. Some of you might be thinking, that must be satirical, right? No way would the official communications director of a professional presidential campaign make such an unhinged public statement that almost seems like the rambling screed of a really pissed off hormonal teenager ranting about their former best friend. No, that was the official statement of the Trump campaign. Donald Trump is clearly triggered by the revelations of the story. When it comes to revelations of the story, we actually have some new information courtesy of the CNN host who received an early copy of Bob Woodward's book, which again has not been publicly released. So here's some new deets about this particular story.
The book War was obtained by CNN ahead of its release next week. It was obtained specifically by CNN special correspondent Jamie Gangel, who joins us now. Wow, some of these revelations. Here is the book.
And I'll lend it to you.
This is a treasure trove of revelations. I'm not like exaggerating here. My jaw dropped in some of the anecdotes in here.
You know, Bob Woodward is still bringing the receipts after all this time. The book is based on confidential documents, notes, transcripts, firsthand accounts from participants. It is an unprecedented look behind the scenes at Joe Biden, unfiltered, profane. He likes to drop the F-bomb. We really learn how leaders and top U.S. officials speak to each other and about each other behind the scenes. But there's also some notable news about Donald Trump in this book. There are new details about former President Trump's relationship with Vladimir Putin. Specifically, the book reveals phone calls never before revealed between Trump and Putin, including a verbatim conversation where they discuss that Trump secretly sent to Putin scarce COVID testing machines for his personal use. This was at a time during the height of COVID where everybody wanted one of these. And we actually have, Woodward has the conversation between Trump and Putin in the book. Here's what they said. Putin, please don't tell anybody you sent these to me. Trump, I don't care, fine. Putin, no, I don't want you to tell anybody because people will get mad at you, not me. They don't care about me. Woodward also writes that
Wow. Even Putin was like, yeah, man, PR-wise, this is a terrible idea. What? Donald, what? that is stunning. It really is. It's really, really stunning. Not in the sense, I suppose, not in the sense that it's unexpected. Just when you think that Trump couldn't possibly be more sycophantic and unpatriotic, that he's more concerned with the livelihood and safety of a foreign adversary, of Vladimir Putin, a guy who wants to restore the Soviet Union, the communist Soviet Union. I thought Donald Trump hates communism, calls Kamala Harris, the vice president of the United States, a communist, a Marxist. But he doesn't seem to care about the man who wants to resurrect the most infamous communist empire, at least outside of China. Donald Trump, again, talks a big game about putting America first, but this is more proof, not the only piece of proof, but just the latest data point, which is also pretty damning, that he doesn't care about America and certainly doesn't care about Americans. Let me put you like this. Donald Trump would rather that test have gone to somebody like Vladimir Putin than a liberal in a blue city or blue state or a Trump critic. That's bad enough. But even on a more selfish level for him, he doesn't care. He didn't care to get those preciously rare tests to Trump voters in red states. That would still be horrific, right? Like only protecting his political supporters at the expense of other Americans who dislike him. That would be bad enough. But even from just a purely selfish lizard brain perspective, it's not like it would still be inexcusable and horrific, but at least I would better understand why you would want to protect your supporters as Trump, but he doesn't even care about that. He was happy or indifferent to the suffering of red states and blue states, of liberals and conservatives, and more concerned with protecting Vladimir Putin. This is why anyone who thinks that Donald Trump really puts America first is just, again, additional proof that that's clearly not the case. And I want you to imagine how MAGA Republicans would react if they learned something similar about President Biden, that at a time when resources like this, crucial resources needed to be triaged, you took those resources and gave them instead to a foreign adversary, right? These MAGA Republicans would be like calling for secession and civil war. But because it's Trump, they're hoping, they're crossing their fingers like, oh my God, please don't look, don't care. And they won't care. They won't be upset about this. But the rest of us should be, and rightly so. Absolutely damning from Donald Trump. He's obviously triggered by this. Love to see the meltdown. Love to see the pressure. Let's keep it up. And in the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.